Well, this is Mike and Sean with Talking Tickets. We have a ticket bubble auction, which think you'll find quite interesting, and some crazy eBay finds, and much, much more. Sean,
What's up, Mike?
what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. Not much. What's up with you?
Oh, got some good stuff. Other than New Year, was going through some auctions, some eBay stuff. I know we got PSA talk to go through.
Yeah, some big news there.
Big football going on. I think I'm going to the Buccaneers game. I may try to get a ticket, but I heard that's not a possibility. Your Seahawks made the playoffs.
Made the playoffs, yeah. So basically, it's just one more week of entertainment is how we look at it.
Right,
because
one more Seahawks week, and then on to the Mariners.
Yeah, on to waiting for spring training to start because we didn't expect to be in the playoffs, so you get that bonus game.
So we got two main things tonight. Where do you want to start? The crazy eBay finds or the bubble auction, as I'll call it?
Let's talk about eBay first. I think there's some really interesting auctions that we were kind of discussing previously that we could hype up.
All right. So what we've kind of noticed in the last week, or we haven't really touched upon it, but we, sometimes we'll talk, off the show or like, man, you see that sale? You see that? We found about 4 or 5 crazy items that we think people just stole on eBay. And that's the thing with tickets is that if you know what you're looking for and you take the time and you put your searches in, because a lot of people don't label things correctly or know what they have. We have about 5 instances of things that were like, dang, somebody stole that, or the seller had no idea what they were looking at.
And it just, unlike cards, it goes to show that if you know what you're doing, there's money to be made in this game still, even with the bubble having burst.
So the first one we'll look at is this original 1926 World Series. What's a World Series? It went for a pretty good amount, right? $33.50. So like what is this game, Sean?
Game 4 of the 1926 World Series. That's the Sylvester home run game where Babe Ruth, we've talked about this before, where Babe Ruth promised the little boy who was in the hospital that he'd hit a home run, and he hit 3 home runs in the game. And so it's one of the most important Babe Ruth related World Series games. But the key here is that this one's in really nice condition. And it's raw, but you just don't see it in this kind of condition very often. So if that comes back in the condition that it looks like, maybe a 4 or so, you're looking at a $10,000 ticket, and it went for $3,350.
That sounds like a deal.
Yeah, yeah, it's an important ticket and in amazing shape. So, somebody got a great deal there.
Yeah. The next one we found, and we literally just saw this 10 minutes ago when we were looking at lot sales. Because, a lot of times people will, keep a saved search where they'll put in, ticket lot, and they'll go in and, they'll save it, they'll heart it. And so it pulls up, you get notified. eBay will notify you when something comes up, anything ticket lot, email or text. You can, do it on your own, or it'll send it to you how you specify. But we're looking at this, and I was like, wait a sec. I know a Jerry Rice debut was at Minnesota around 1985. Then I looked a little closer. I was like, dang, somebody just sold 2 Jerry Rice debuts that are pretty dang nice, even though, they ripped the top of them. And 2,500, I believe it was a buy it now, 2,550. Like, what do you think that would go for? 2 Jerry's.
Yeah, I think more than each one would go for more than that, 3 to 5.
I would think at least 5, maybe up to 10, depending on the grade. There's no telling because they're pretty rare, and it's freaking Jerry Rice, one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah.
I think he could get upwards of, I wouldn't say 20K, but grade them, auction them.
Yeah, it kind of gets back to the whole bubble regarding the debuts. It's so hard to judge what the value of debuts are now because so many have gone down so much, but this is a really rare one. So
I've only seen there's only a handful, I think, graded.
Yeah.
It's a very rare ticket.
So big
But ticket
money
lots.
to be made there.
So this one, we were notified by one of the buyers of this. So it's vintage rain check Yankees baseball ticket stub, unknown date, rough shape, the most generic, non-descriptive title ever.
Yeah.
So what is this game?
So it's a Wednesday, April 18th, but you can tell, the ticket. If you're a collector, you know that this is the first game of 1923 Yankee Stadium, the first game at Yankee Stadium. When Yankee Stadium opened and Babe Ruth hit a home run, it's kind of dubbed the house that Ruth built ticket. And this one's in really bad shape, and it is also encapsulated in some kind of plastic. So who knows about that? But assuming it's able to be removed and it's actually legit, $10,000 to $15,000.
Dang, you think it's that much?
It's a really, really, really highly desired and rare ticket. Yeah, to Babe Ruth collectors or to Yankee collectors, it's one of the holy grails.
Wow, even in that condition.
Yeah. Well, it's just so hard to find, especially with the clear date like that, because a lot of them are undated.
Mm-hmm.
And so a printed on date that's the cream of the crop as far as that ticket goes.
Dang, Sean, why are we finding these gems?
Yeah.
All right, so one gem that's still out there, but I think it's kind of common knowledge, at least in the ticket world. It was posted on Boogers. Yeah. So what one of these tickets stands out to you?
Yeah. So this one it's an interesting one too. The one September 30th, 1972, that's the Clemente's 3,000th hit. And generally, 3,000 hit milestone tickets are not that valuable usually, but the vintage ones are sometimes different depending on, the attendance and whether it happened at home or whatnot. For whatever reason, the attendance at this game was really low. It was like 13,000. So there's not that many of them out there. You see some that are like the seat coupon style, less desired, I think, than this one. And this one seems like it's in really nice shape, and it's the regular ticket version. So it's like the best. It's a really nice one. I think one sold recently. I forget which auction it was, but it was $5,000. So
and this was Clemente's. He had exactly 3,000 hits.
Exactly. Yeah, it was his last hit of the season, but it wasn't the last game of the season. There was like 3 or 4 more games. So it wasn't understood that this would be his. Well, actually, I don't even think that he had announced his retirement, but then he perished in a plane crash that off season. So
was this his last regular season game also?
No, I think he pinch ran in one of the last games, but I think it was his last at bat.
Okay. Yeah, but that makes sense. My guess their last game was probably on Sunday.
He might have been a defensive replacement. I know he played in one of the games after this, but he didn't hit. So this is it's an iconic ticket for milestone collectors for sure. So
value.
I think it's about $5,000. One recently sold for around $5,000, but I think that this one, it wasn't listed correctly, but I think that it's gotten enough attention that it'll get
right. And the seller knows too. Like I have been told, the 92.7 stub was Clemente's 3,000 hit game.
Yeah.
Then he added a photo of the back of this, so the seller knows, and it's kind of one of those things where the auction. A lot of times if you find one, you don't tell anybody and hope nobody else sees it and you get it. But then if somebody else does, they may contact the seller and the seller may pull it, or who knows.
Yeah, I know. This game it can be the Wild West, the people who try to poach tickets because it was, it's all happened. It's happened to all of us, and it's really annoying,
so all you people out there want to find some hidden gems, they're out there. You just got to do that research and put those searches in, those saved searches.
Yeah, there was actually another one that I wanted to touch on. It wasn't a hidden gem, but it was a really interesting ticket. I forgot to mention it to you before, but can you search on on it's back on eBay, but it's the highest sales of tickets.
Sure. What are we looking for here?
Just search by it's the Saruhara O debut,
Oh
and
yeah, I
it
think
was
I saw that, and I was like, "That's interesting."
yeah, it was interesting that, and it actually I think it sold. There it is. So when I saw that, the first thing that stuck out to me was, in $20,000, that's a lot, but you know, amazing ticket because it's his debut apparently. But what turns me off to it is that it's a stamped date.
Right.
So that 34/4/11 is stamped, and you know,
Interesting.
who knows? It could be completely legitimate, but I know that PSA won't touch any stamped dates anymore, and so
Right.
you know, maybe that's how they did it. It looks like that little stamp up in the corner kind of matches it, so it might have been, you know, that's just how they do it, and it could be completely legitimate, but that's what would shy me away from it. Just because you never know with stamp dates, it could have been some kind of proof that was stamped afterwards, and but
You know, those who
I
don't
thought
know,
that was
he's
a really
the
fascinating one.
Japanese all-time home run leader, greatest hitter of all time.
Right.
They're basically they're Babe Ruth. I guess they
Yeah,
say he hit like 800 over there, over
yeah,
800.
something crazy like that. They're Babe Ruth, so
Yeah, I know. Actually, when we were searching that ticket, it reminds me of how I like to kind of search the highest price sales. As you can see, like, oh wow, Messi. You know, you go to 130point.com and the Jordan game 263 point. I think it went for like, oh, I can't remember what the number was, but you know, for those who are like, oh, what would the best offer go for? You know, the little thing we do is I go to 130. This is where you go, Sean, when you try to find
yeah,
sales.
yeah.
You know, go to 130point.com and they will give you the actual best offer price. And I think we showed it through the eBay also. I think the research part. So you type in ticket stub, and then you have your filters that you can go to. Let me click back up. This is rolling through. Highest price, submit, and then it goes through them all, and you're like, oh, okay, well, let's see what these actual sold for, not what on eBay shows. So 11,000 went from I listed it for 50, got 11.
That
Which is
ticket
a
goes for
lot, right?
$11,000. I had no idea.
No, I think that's a super high price. I thought one sold a while ago. I can't remember what it was, but I thought it was definitely less than 10. At least I thought it was.
Yeah, I remember one sold that wasn't listed right. It was just
Right.
playoff tickets, and it went for a few thousand. But yeah, crazy. Lots of opportunities out there still.
And the other one, if you have an eBay account, it'll go through the last year. So if you go to research products, and then type in, what Jordan have that game? 63?
63.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Jordan 63 ticket. Then they'll all pop up. The one's most recent sales. Like, here you go. See, it shows it also here, 11,000. So that's another way to do it if you have an eBay account. So it's a little notes, little tidbits for everybody out there want to do some research. Moving on. So I've talked about, the bubble auction. I don't know if you saw this auction, but when first time I saw it, I was like, wow, these are the tickets that were so bubble-licious in the peak. Like, just the epitome. And I was like, wow, I want to see what these go for. And then the auction went off. I go, you know what? I know I've seen these tickets before. And I started researching, and I found all of the previous sales from this auction. So Memory Lane had this auction, and these are all the bubble-licious ones. I'm talking Jordan debut, LeBron debut, Tiger debuts, Pele, Brady auto debuts, Brady, just auto stuff, right? Did you see this auction, Sean?
Was this when this ended recently?
Yeah, this ended like a week ago, a couple weeks
I didn't
ago.
look at it.
And I wanted to talk about it on one of our shows, but we had just caught up with stuff, and then the New Year's out of town.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go over it and just show some of these insanity differences. So
yeah,
here's the first one. So at the Huggins Scott auction on April 7th, 2022, this ticket sold for $111,000.
Is it the exact same ticket?
The exact same ticket went for $29,012.40.
The same. Yeah, that is the exact same ticket. Wow.
This is just one of many that I wanted to show. So what? We had 100, almost 90, $80,000 difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Feel free to chime in on any opinions on these.
I'm ready for the next one.
The next one. These are fun. I'm just going in order. LeBron debut, PSA 6, 24,000. Full ticket. Great ticket, right?
Yeah.
Most recent sale, 7,260.
Yeah.
Which I actually thought wasn't a bad. I was like, okay, a 6 full LeBron. I feel like it's undervalued. I thought it was like a fair. When this guy bought this, I was like, okay. No, like the 5, like I said, I'm not a fan of the box office version, so I don't care what the grade is. I just kind of stay away from it because I think it's just too expensive. But this ticket, we all love the baby, and Sean's a big fan of the baby.
But you're the one that owns the original photo.
Dang it, I should have grabbed it. I forgot we're looking at this ticket. Moving on. Next. Authentic Tiger debut, 57,600. This is his very first when he was 16 years old. Sold 14,298.
Is that the exact same one?
These are all the exact same, literally.
Wow. Do you think it was one?
You know what? This one isn't the exact same, but there's other ones I think that were sold at similar times.
Yeah.
But the other ones have been exact same, and you'll notice a lot of these early bubble sales, man, it's in that window, November 2021 to April 2022, where it was that blow off market top where it, like, price had no meaning.
Yeah.
Moving on. 10,500 for a PSA 6 full. And this one went for 4,000, exact same one. So not too bad.
That's quite a loss.
It is quite a loss. And the crazy thing is, let's see if I can zoom out on this, is that the other ones went for insane, like 99,000 for the 9.
Yeah.
Which if you sold that today, you'd probably get what? 20 for the highest graded?
Yeah.
And then other ones, the 8 went for 87,000. This one, 57. We showed that one. Whew. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, when you look at all these, do you think somebody owned all these and basically got liquidated from maybe one of the PWCCs of the world that was giving out credit for their tickets? We'll give you 40 cents on the dollar, 60 cents for value. And then they're like, holy crap, this person, we owe them more than what we're holding. And they had to liquidate.
Yeah, it might be something like that. That would make sense. It feels like all the same kind of
big card collector just trying to flip and got caught.
Yeah, because they're all the high end, like
all the debutee, stuff that skyrocketed.
The really, really, really popular stuff where that, this happened. But this was a segment of the market where it was the really high profile tickets that just exploded. Whereas a lot of the other lower end ones, like we talked about with even the Super Bowl one.
Right. And here's it. We talk about, this ticket, this recently sold on eBay, and it was the Super Bowl one ticket, which sold for $3,100. What would this ticket go for a year ago?
At the peak of the bubble, that was like $1,000 ticket, maybe 1,200, a PSA 2.
And I think straight auctions are the best. eBay auctions are the best gauge of market value.
Yeah, maybe assuming it's legitimate.
And the heritage or the auction houses. I like to see auctions. Let people bid it up and see where it ends. And
right.
Dang, this is we were a little surprised about how much this went for.
Yeah, it's weird because there's certain segments of the market, just like you were showing, that just absolutely crashed. And it was predictable because they shouldn't have been, or at least it seemed like they went up way too fast. And when something goes up in value that fast, it's you know, that it's probably going to come back down at some point.
Right.
But then there's other segments that stayed strong and continue to grow today, like this.
You know, we
World
talked about
Series, a lot of World Series tickets, like that the Silvestri home run ticket, the Babe Ruth home run that we were talking about. That thing is continued to go up in value. The called shot, Babe Ruth called shot ticket.
Right. The 1918 game one, the Immaculate Reception, you know, those type
of yeah. There's lots of examples that have continued to build in value and stay strong today. And then of course there's lots of examples of just absolute crash.
Right. So. But these are so fun to look at. And I laugh at it. I got, I made a big purchase on one to collect, not to flip. And I got hit pretty hard on it, but if you can afford it, it's not the end of the world. This is part of the game. And then I sold a ticket for an ungodly amount that I'd get 10% on.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times, sometimes it goes both ways. You just hope you're right more than you're wrong if you're making a buy. Moving along, Tiger Woods debut autoed. Kind of a cool ticket. 1 day practice round. 16,200. I actually bid on this one. Sold November 2021, resold for $12,687. So not bad. The auto kept it up.
Yeah.
Exact same ticket. 510. That's the thing about so crazy. Like these are the exact same tickets, basically, except for that one that I showed earlier. Moving along. Pele. This one's fun.
Yeah.
Pele won with a mark. 36,000, June 9th, 2022. I mean, this is like peak time.
Yeah.
Resold for $1,452.
Yeah.
The exact same ticket.
So I remember that sale, that $36,000 sale, and I remember we were doing our show, and I think it was when we were just doing it on Instagram, and I showed my copy of this, which was same grade.
Right.
And I said that I bought this for $150 on eBay, maybe in 2018, and this was 2020 when that thing sold, or 21 maybe. And so if you hear that that something went from $150 on eBay to $36,000 in just less than a few years, that just doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
as far as long-term stability goes.
Pump and dumps. Who knows?
Just crazy. I have no idea what was going on, but it was not sustainable. That much was clear. So it's not surprising. Even with that information, even the $1,500 sale is pretty solid. That's a 10x in 4 years. That's not bad.
Right.
So.
Oh man, this one's a fun one. Brady debut auto, $175,200. And I actually met a guy at the National who claimed he had a few of these that he sold. And I don't think he was BSing me. I feel like he was telling me the truth. I don't know if this was his. Think about that. $175,200. Resold the exact same ticket for $22,754. Thoughts?
Yeah. That's it's just like we were saying. It's that hysteria, the hysteria that was going on in right around early 2022, late 2021. It was crazy. There's no other way to describe it.
You can make it documentaries. This and cars and God freaking everything else.
Yeah.
I think there's a few more. Brady replaces Bledsoe. Auto 10. The ticket isn't even graded. 44,400. What's your guess it went for?
This exact same one?
Yeah, exact same ticket.
I would say 4,000.
Come on, $6,669.
See, but that's the thing that people don't realize is that this is just the only thing that's slabbed here is the signature. It's not. They're not even looking at the ticket.
Hey, it says the beginning, Sean.
Yeah, it could just be a piece of paper for all they know. In terms of what Beckett's looking at. So
next, Bledsoe 10-10 auto first start, $28,800.
Yeah.
Guess.
First start, 4,600.
This one actually did all right, 19,000.
Wow. Huh.
I think because it's 10-10. 10-10 makes a big difference. If it was like 9-10, 10-9, no way. Way less than that. All right. And I think this is the last one. Oh, this is a small one. Brady auto ticket, Super Bowl. First Super Bowl went for 10-5. This one went for 4-5-5. So just the exact one. The exact one. So that was kind of the last one of the little bitties.
It seemed like at that time that there were so many Brady autographs out there, even though it's so hard to get Brady's signature.
Well, it's those Fanatics guys. They buy up the tickets, get it autoed, double their money.
And like your story about the guy at the National, I think that just looking at how much shows up at auction houses, you can tell that kind of back end dealing is going on. And so although it may seem rare because the ordinary person can't get it, it's not as rare as you might think.
Yeah, that's why you can't get a lot of tickets signed by specific people, because people like Fanatics or Fitterman basically control it, and they want to buy the tickets up, get them signed, and sell them because they feel like they can make more money doing it that way than just.
What do you think of the signed ticket market now compared to then? Has it, because I don't really pay attention to it that much. Do you think that
I think it's still pretty good. It's not getting those insane multiples like it did at the peak, but it definitely has value, and I think people really like it. I think they like the look. Yeah. It just adds more value, more uniqueness. It just fit, it's a perfect fit. It just looks good on a lot of tickets. If it's for a player, that's what the game was all about, was what he did. I still think it's been pretty well, and I think more people are getting into it than are not getting into it.
Yeah. I think that just the ticket market in general, the bubble saw a lot of people get in, and then prices started to tank. But in the end, where we are now, we have a lot more people in than we did before, because a lot of people just enjoyed it and stuck with it. They held on.
Yeah, it's fun. You do the treasure hunts like we showed and collect certain players or teams.
Get addicted to that stuff.
It's fun. Moving along, what else did you want to? Oh, PSA got some news, right?
Yeah, with the PSA, do you have it up, the new pricing?
I do.
This was something that we talked about. We speculated. We said basically we thought that this wouldn't happen, if you remember, but it happened. They lowered the price in but it looks like they added a new tier value. So economy is still 50, but the value was added, so that's maximum $499, but $30 to get tickets graded with PSA. And it seems like, I know that a lot of people would disagree with this, but it seems like the turnaround is starting to get a little bit better.
I guess a couple things to all that. When we first heard this, and then on Boogers, people were laughing like, "Oh, great! Looks like we're going to get our tickets back in 9 months now instead of 6 or 4." But I know I got a notification the other day about some tickets. I was surprised that they were in grading or they were in assembly. Well, remains to be seen how soon we get them back. But I do feel like you were just saying it has picked up a little bit in the last couple weeks with the grading and everything.
Yeah, and that might be, why they felt like they could add a new tier that's, $30 tier now. Kind of a preemptive move maybe to compete with Beckett, because they, I would imagine that Beckett's going to come out with a competitive price on grading, especially just to start. So it's interesting. I definitely have probably about 20 tickets that I would send in at the $30 level that I wouldn't have at the 50. Do you have anything that you would be?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting to hold out on some stuff. Wish Beckett would kind of get going, kind of see it. I'm still more a wait and see than compared to you, maybe who's ready to send them to Beckett. But this will be interesting now. If Beckett comes in at 30, well, I feel like PSA, they're smart. They want to keep getting the business, and people will kind of default, I think, to Beckett if they're the same price. But if Beckett was cheaper, people would more be like, man, if I'm paying Beckett 30 and PSA's at 50, I'm just going to roll it, take my chances with Beckett. But now I feel like PSA's back on board.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because I think ultimately it'll come down to turnaround times. If you're still waiting 6 months at PSA, then I think Beckett will do better, but then that'll probably jam them up and slow them down. So, but no matter how you slice it, it's better to have, for the collector, it's better to have a competitor.
And I think I saw a post today, maybe on Boogers, about somebody getting hired to do the soccer researching. So that will be back in.
I saw that a soccer ticket expert, and so they're going to go back to grading soccer, which I think is great. I think it's really important. It's not something that I collect or I know anything about, but it's so important to have that international interest in.
For sure.
In getting in ticket collecting too. So I was happy to see that. So some interesting news, some good news.
So come on, Beckett, we're waiting on you.
Yeah. What was it? How long were we gonna have to wait?
I figure it should be almost soon, in the next month or two. I would think, but who knows? Stuff easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big project, so I don't know, but it seems like we've been hearing that for a while. Next couple of months, so who knows? But speaking of PSA, I have an update on. Maybe you remember, but when we were talking last, I had sent in a bunch of tickets to PSA. I got them back, and one of them was the Reggie Jackson first home run. It has 2 hole punches, and they had marked it as canceled. And I was frustrated with that. Well, apparently somebody got word of it. I got an email the next day, and they wanted to correct it. PSA wanted to correct it, so they sent me the shipping label, and I had it in the mail, and it's already done, and it's on its way back. I just got the notice today. So
we know there's people
kudos to PSA.
They've complained about between the COVID game, the Thunder not grading that, some of those, the punch tickets that we've talked about. Hopefully they'll start rectifying this. People bag on PSA, but I feel like with Nat Turner running it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that it's a communication issue, because the policies change, and that's understandable, because you new information's uncovered, or you realize that things should, you maybe want to call out a certain type of ticket in a different way, whether it's punched or laminated or whatever. And when policies change, it's really the key is communicating that, because a lot of times the problem is, as a collector, I might not know that the policy's changed. I might buy a ticket raw that is, whatever, double hole punched, and I don't, but not knowing exactly how PSA is going to, see it and describe it on the flip. So, so that I just feel like that's the kind of root cause of a lot of the anti-PSA sentiment out there. It's just the lack of information. So,
well, it seems like they're trying to improve that with the pricing and the reaching out and hiring the soccer grader.
Yeah. Do you remember when I think it was last year, or maybe 20, I don't know when it was, but they decided they were going to start doing Ticketmaster tickets. Yeah. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And that was a big change. And, it made a big difference to a lot of collectors, whether you were pro Ticketmaster tick version or anti Ticketmaster version, but it was a big change. And I felt like then they did a pretty good job of communicating that, because everybody understood when it was happening, But
How'd
then
they communicate it last time?
I don't remember, but the word got out, and whether it was just through social media
Right.
or in the forums or whatever, but word got out pretty quickly, and it was pretty definitive that now they were doing that. They hadn't before for XYZ reasons. Now they're going to, and and that transition was pretty good. So it can be done, but then when they make a change, like I can't even think of one of the other ones, but they decide they're going to grade something or not going to grade something. It's not usually the entire collecting community doesn't necessarily get that information. So
Right.
I guess that's my feedback on that.
All right.
More to
Well,
come.
good job, PSA. Let's keep doing good things.
Yeah.
Do you have what else we got? I know we're still working on that top 100, getting things back.
Yeah, the top 100. So, I've been spending quite a bit of time manually logging every ballot, and unfortunately, the way that we did it, it requires that I go through line by line and organize them all, so that I can just tally the totals basically, because not everybody writes it the same way, so you can't just sort it in a nice easy way. It's called cleaning your data, which is what I'm doing. And I'm pretty much finished with that. I think we have 29 or 30 ballots complete. If anybody's watching this and they have one that they want to send in, we can still take it, and it's no problem. So we love to have it. But I totaled them up, had a preliminary list. I sent you a screenshot of it. What was your thought? Without giving anything away, what'd you think?
I thought it was kind of the top 10 or 15 or so. After that, it's kind of I feel like more of a crapshoot, but I feel like it was kind of not too far off what I was thinking.
Yeah, actually, I did. I looked. So the way that I organized everything, I can look at everybody's ballot, and yours was one of the closest. I think yours was the second closest to all of your tickets being the on the list.
Okay.
On the final list, I think you had 80 of your 100 were on the final list.
See, that's
which is pretty good. Yeah. So yours was pretty accurate, I think, consistent with the list. I sent it to Howard, and you got Howard's response. He was shocked.
The debuts, right? A lot of debuts.
That's Howard was just shocked. So, and I think that when I started logging them and I started looking at each one and going through each one, that was kind of my response too, was like, oh, these guys don't know what they're doing. But then after going through a few, I realized, wait a minute, maybe it's me that doesn't know. Maybe I'm the one who was wrong.
Too much baseball.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I think I learned a lot about kind of the general perspective of the prominent ticket collector, because I think that we ended up with a really good cross section of varying interests in ticket collecting, and prominent ticket collectors. It seemed like most of them had a bias that you could tell, whether it was they were focusing more on the event, or they're focusing more on value of the ticket, or some people focus more on the visual aspect of the ticket, and you could kind of tell that. But for the most part, it looked like everybody took a lot of time, and it was thoughtful, and did a nice job on the top 100. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good list.
Yeah, I think different ways to some of how we're going to roll that out, but it's definitely something probably in the next couple months we'll be working on and presenting. Should be fun. Yeah,
I think maybe Instagram posts followed by a video or something like that.
Yeah, we still got time figuring out to do, but
yeah,
it'll get done. You have any recent pickups?
I have one, and this kind of dives into my newest collection, and that is the this is one that it's a 1947 Jackie Robinson rookie season ticket. It's just a kind of bad shape, random game, nothing important. But I decided that I'm going to start collecting this set. And
I got one.
You have one?
I do have one. It has a little writing on the front, but I'm not sure what game
other than the Jackie Robinson debut.
Yeah, I don't know why I bought it a long time ago, but I'll have to break it out.
So because I have the debut and I have the first hit, and those are the two most expensive that So I have those, and I thought it would be really, really cool to try to piece together that set.
I always like the rookie year superstars, iconic players. That seems like a great thing to collect.
Yeah, it's a popular thing to do, like the Jordan rookie season. But this is it's going to be a tough one. They're pretty difficult to find, and but I think it'll be a fun challenge. So I'm gonna dive into it. So that's my first. I actually got this from. It was on eBay. It was a seller I recognized. It was actually Jamie. We've had him on the show before.
Okay.
And so I messaged him, worked out a deal off eBay, and that's the first one, other than the first hit. And
so all you people who have Jackie Robinson rookie years, the man.
He
pays top dollar.
Good trade material.
He pays 150% of value.
I'll trade. I'll give you 150% trade value.
Any others pickups?
So you said you have one? You have a 47?
A few things. I talked about that trade. I always thought it was interesting. I got those LeBron debuts. I haven't done anything with them yet, but a guy hit me up and says, "Hey, I want one." He gave me a list of tickets. And I was like, you interested in any of them? And one was a Super Bowl one, which I don't have. So I traded him a LeBron debut, which is pretty similar to this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be the nicer version, but it was one of the ones that were, not as nice. And he gave me this, and they're both of similar quality. This might have been in a little better shape. And I thought it was a pretty even trade.
Yeah, that looks really nice. Does it have a crease in it?
No, it's no crease. I think it would grade probably like a 2. It's pretty beat up on the edges, and it's got some discoloring and stuff a little bit on the back. But overall, it's pretty nice for considering.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fired up about that. I didn't have a Super Bowl one. I did a Jeter signing, and I got a ticket signing back, and I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. So this is from his flip game. This is actually a pretty rare ticket. It was in Oakland, and he signed it. And I wanted it more in the white, but he signed it, in between a little higher, but I guess you kind of have to, because he's got that little curl that comes down, which probably would have come off the ticket. So maybe that's why. Yeah. That's kind of what you get when you send it out. I guess it came out all right? Maybe not as good if it was all in the white.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
But I don't know. I think I kind of compare it to like Willie Mays The Catch, but maybe not as grand a stage, but kind of his iconic. All right, come on, Yankee bash.
Right. You can't compare the.
I said it's a step. So Willie Mays is The Catch here, but it's right. It's his.
I honestly haven't. My anti-Yankee bias is coming out again. I can't understand why that play is so hyped up. He was a cutoff man.
But he is. It's the most iconic play for one of the most iconic Yankees, one of the most iconic dynasties.
Yeah. No,
so it's kind
question.
of like, okay.
But the play itself.
At
the play itself.
In the peak of the bubble. So, what I put into it is probably what it's worth at this point with the auto. Maybe not. I'd be curious what do you think?
How much does a Jeter autograph run nowadays?
Oh man, that's like $700-800.
Wow.
Yeah. So I actually have another one of those. I kind of want to see how it would look. So I don't know. Maybe I'll grade it and sell it. That was kind of a ticket. I'm like, well, maybe I'll grade. So, I think did I show you this last time? I did. Yeah, it was I don't know. What do you think of a box office LeBron debut? I've never seen any of these.
Yeah, I've seen him. I think one was on eBay a while back for a while.
Is it with like straight from the box office that has all the little Kings pictures on it? A little more than just straight.
Yeah. I think that's just the way the box office was back then.
Right.
But it is less common than the other one. But then there's the Ticketmaster version too.
I'm kind of curious to see what happens with LeBron stuff with him with the point record. If that's going to, get people more excited about him. Everybody knows it's coming. They don't care. Or
When is that? When is he going to
he'll
break
probably break the record in about a month or two. The Kareem record.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well, where's the baby picture?
Man, it's in my safe. I'd go run it, but then I'd have to do the whole thing and get it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll.
Well, maybe next time. Save it for next time. Well, you got the baby picture. You got an original copy of the baby picture.
The Type 1 baby picture.
Yeah. Yeah. See if you should check with PSA and see if they'll slab it as a Type 1.
That's right. Yeah, I'll have to do that. But yeah, I was looking at it today and I was like, oh, I should grab this. And then I was like, I don't think we'll be talking about LeBron debuts tonight. Then I was like, oh crap, we freaking are going to mention the LeBron debut.
That one that you just showed, that was part of that deal.
That was like the throw-in. She threw in a bunch of stuff, man. Sweet lady.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like the gauge. That LeBron full debut only went for 7. So the ones I have, I feel like kind of she made out, I think, pretty good for just selling it all in one bunch and then
just having all that stuff laying around for years. Yeah. So yeah, good. That's another example of there's still deals to be had.
Deals. It's got to know. It's got to look. It's got to research. Got to hustle. Got to network.
Know what you're looking for. Cool.
One more thing I had. Dallas actually is having a card show this weekend. I may be out there setting up tomorrow, Saturday. I have card guys, and sometimes they have table space. But it's always interesting that the card shows, it's very little amount of tickets, and people aren't really looking to buy tickets. And sometimes I just put stuff out there just to show, like, hey, this is some of my best stuff, and like talking pieces, get people interested. But it's like, man, you only have so much space. Do you do that and not bring stuff to sell, or you just bring your lower end stuff that you're trying to move, but knowing it's such a card heavy show that doesn't really get people interested if I have, a 1996 All-Star game ticket for sale instead of like a Jackie Robinson debut, or something people get really excited about.
Is it mostly more modern cards at Dallas?
It's a lot of modern, just card, man. It is a damn card show. And of course you get about 5% of non-card stuff, but it's if you're ever in Dallas, it's in Allen, Texas, and it's a big show. It's about 600 tables. It's, I think, the biggest one in the country that they do on a bi-monthly basis.
And it gets a
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, that's where I found that lot with the Akeem debuts and all that stuff. So you never know what you can find out there. I found some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Just looking around. Do you ever go to like secondhand stores or anything like that to look for tickets?
No, but I saw somebody post something the other day about finding some cool stuff. I never even thought about Goodwill or random things like that having tickets, but
yeah, I've looked because I've heard that kind of thing happens, and I've never found anything. So it just feels like a waste of time, but apparently it's out there, estate sales, that sort of thing.
Estate sales, things like that. There's different hustles. I haven't really touched on any of the questions. Sean, Mike, can you get a PSA to put a special designation on the tickets you got from the baby's grandma? That's a good question.
Good idea. That is a good idea.
Original baby. I don't know.
From the baby's grandma. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, how are Ohtani debut PSA 10 tickets doing? Well, I guess not what they were doing, but I actually saw a 9 sell for about 1,500, 2,000, which kind of surprised me. A box office 9. If there's any other questions, I don't think so. But yeah, that's kind of pretty much the rundown of all our stuff. Did you have anything else?
I think I touched on the things I wanted to touch on. So
yeah, kind of a quick hitter. Bass got such a kick out of that auction. Just mind blowing. I'd love to hear the backstory of that, of whose tickets those were, and if there's any, shenanigans going on with those original sales or not, or if somebody just got burnt bad.
Yeah. Who knows? But Those times are over. We know that.
Slow and steady now wins the race.
And that's how it was before. Back in the day.
That's right. You've seen it all. You've seen it from.
So we're back.
Right. Back to normal.
Good. We can get back to collecting. Investing.
Hey, like my card friend says, if you're not in the hustle, you're getting hustled. That was kind of the card world motto he had. It kind of tells you all you need to know about what was going on there the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
One more question. How do you crack a tamper-proof PSA slab?
Well,
I don't have it on me, but you get what was the word I'm looking for?
Pliers?
Yeah, some pliers. Get the corner. Right.
You start with the top corner here, and then you do this corner, and then you take
a flathead.
A flathead, yeah, and stick it in there, and then just pry around the top and pry around the sides carefully, and then it cracks. It pops up.
There's some good YouTube videos. You know, if you Google on PSA.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. When you're cutting this, put like a blanket or a towel over it or something, because this will fly and it'll hit you in the face. But there are good YouTube videos that show you exactly how to do it, and that's how I learned, and it's actually pretty easy.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah.
Once you do it a few times,
crack
that, resend in, get that higher grade.
Yeah, and don't forget to send the label back to PSA when you send it in, because otherwise the pop reports get all out of whack.
Yeah. Yes, they will if you don't. That's the funny thing, like in cards where there's a ticket that may be like 5 of 5, but then it's been graded 8 times because people are just cracked it trying to bump it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What's another thing I saw a video where like a PSA 10 Magic Jordan Bird card goes for like 500,000, but then a 9 goes for like 50,000.
Yeah, less than that now. Yeah, it's insane. And if you look at them, that you can barely even tell the difference.
Right, if at all.
Yeah. So
but that's a whole nother topic that we're definitely not experts on. Cards. I know enough, but not too much. Well, then I think it was good talk.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Everybody who's here, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, great. If you've subscribed or have not, subscribe to our show. I need to start adding that at the beginning.
Yeah,
and doing more things.
Subscribe and like.
That's right.
We need more subscribers.
Keep on doing what
we're doing. Comment too. Those are always fun.
All right. Well, till next time.
See ya.
All right. Have a good one.